Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life, A Slice of Life. I got something for you tonight. The first things men notice when they enter your home. Oops, oops, oops. The first thing that men notice when they enter your home. So I'm not, don't get me on the he, she, they. The first thing you invited somebody over, you trying to have a little something going on, a relationship or a situationship. So you invite them to the house. Well, the first things that men notice when they enter your house, men observe when they enter a woman's home. And where did I get this idea? From SEALZ, Sealz the man. I find young people talking about things and other people talking about things that I think would be good for a slice of life. And I was thinking about first time I invited somebody I really, really liked to my house. And then I was thinking about, what's my house looking like then? What was anything looking like? But this is what he says. It reveals a lot about a person. The cleanliness. It reveals about their social life and their current emotional state. Now, he did give a pass. If you come to the house and it's not exactly, then you could be going through a season, because he said he's a very neat person. He likes things organized like I do too. But sometimes you go through a season. You get this part done and this part done, but you can't get the one part done. And so, but if the person comes and they see some improvement every time they come, then they know you're coming out your season. But sometimes you're in a season, like right now, I'm in a season. And I'm working on getting myself out of it. But this, he said, here are the key takeaways. Now, I didn't ever think about this because I don't have the hair issue, but the drain got hair in it. I didn't know men even paid attention to that. If your drain in your bathroom got some hair in it, it's a red flag. Whoa, I think that's kind of messy right there, but it is messy. Because I do understand the whole draining hair thing. Okay, so you're shaving all these different places, but then you're not rinsing it out, or you don't see the drain, you don't see the hair there. That's a good point. So it says drain. The cleanliness of drains indicates a woman's overall tidiness and self-respect. So you don't want anybody coming to see the hair, wherever the hair comes from. You don't want them to see the hair in the sink. You don't want to see. So he has to go to the restroom, wash his hand, and he get in there, and it's hair everywhere and stuff everywhere. And sometimes men lift up the seat. You might want to lift up the seat yourself and see what's under there, because stuff comes up. I'm just saying. So drains. I never heard of that. I never thought that. But men have their own way of just seeing. They see stuff that we don't see, and being a man, I guess he would look at the drains. But anyway, that's according to Sealz on YouTube, the man. I'll put his name in there because I'm giving him credit for it. And so then he says that when a man comes to the house, I laughed when you said this, they look for signs of another man. You say you're not dating anybody, but some joker's pants over there and some joker's shoes over there, and you got, he said two toothbrushes, one blue and one pink. Who is that? And then you said, oh, well, he's not here anymore. And then he made an example. He's in jail right now. Oh, baby. Oh, my God. I almost fell out when I heard this. You have to go and listen to this, brother. But I didn't think about looking around to see if it's signs of another man. Now, he said it could be your brother or your cousin, but men look to see if it's, they could look, they sniff right away. If it's not another man, they got a chance. But if they see some male's clothing and you haven't explained it, then, they might not come back. So you got the drains, number one. Clean the drains out when you shave. You should do that anyway. Who wants to look at your nasty hair? I mean, I hate it when people shave and then they leave their hair for me to look at. And, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to leave any hair for you to look at. So why you leave some hair for me to look at? When you have multiple people in the house. So I just said all that to say that this is what he's saying. Maybe it was somebody else. It may not have been the woman. Maybe she has a roommate. I don't know. I'm just saying. But baby, clean your drain. And secondly, make sure you don't have your cousin, your brother, your uncle came by, your dad, and left his coat out where everybody can see it. Or when you walk in and say, that's my daddy's coat. Oh, my daddy left his coat here. You need to explain it right away, because that's a red flag. Then he says the photos and the quantity of photos can suggest a woman is social, she's family oriented, or more introverted. So if it's minimal and no photos, you don't see a photo anywhere. You don't see, family, not having a good time, any kind of photos anywhere, nothing current. And so that may be old fashioned in its own way because people put the photos on Facebook. So you might look at her Facebook page and see if she or he or they or them have photos. I don't know if they have to necessarily be in the house now. I think that's a little antiquated. Who am I? I'm 83, that I have photos around the house. I still have photo albums, but for that matter, but most of my better photos are up on Facebook or Instagram, and I think that's where people have landed them. There was a business at one time that if you send them your photos from your phone, they will send you everything back in a frame because people are not doing that anymore. Although the dollar store still sells frames, I don't know who's buying frames because who's printing off the pictures. I know at Walgreens you can go get the pictures printed off. I personally like to have pictures of family around, but this is one of the things that this young man, and he's not young like in his 20s or anything, but he's young enough, maybe 30. So I'm talking to the 30-year-olds. But for that matter, I don't know if it's an age thing. I think it's a sentiment thing. What men look for when they come to your house. So let's recapitulate again. They look in the nasty drains where you got all that hair. They look to see if it's signs of another man. And they look to see what kind of photos you got hanging around. Or do you not have any photos hanging around? And then I'm going to put them, I'm just going to give people a pass on the photos. Like I said, because people have phone in their phone. Now, it'd be nice if you say, you want to see my sister? And then you go to your phone, you want to see my brother? You want to see my cousin? They on Facebook, want to see my pictures? Then you can show them on Facebook. If that's a conversation. Normally it is a conversation. But then it's a new normal out here. Okay, so the home matches her persona. The home matches her persona. A man observes if the home style and the atmosphere align with the woman's personality. Does it align with the woman's personality? As homes often reflect the owner's interests and feelings. Now, it's a museum up in here. This right here will get on a lot of people's nerves. This corner. So you can imagine what the rest of it look like. But I've been in lots of places. I retired from Delta Airlines. I've been a lot of places. So it's a lot of stuff, but then it didn't have anything to do because I was well traveled before I went to Delta Airlines as a teacher. So I just like stuff. I like that international look, or I like to collect. I have all kinds of collections, which were the person who's, there people would call it junk, but it's my junk. And so you have to like my junk. But anyway, it matches my personality. I'm a well-traveled. People who get to know me, they know that about me. And mostly people that I deal with have been somewhere. I don't have a lot of conversation. If you haven't been out your state, I got a problem with that. We don't have much to talk about. But you've been traveling, you got a different edge, you got a different look, got a different idea about life. You got a different perception of different things, even food and clothing and fabric. I know that doesn't make sense, but if you've been outside the country enough time, you understand the different fabrics. And that's what I look at, the different fabrics and the different foods and mannerisms and that the world is colored. It's brown and black. It is not white. And so I like people who are well traveled. And so my home reflects the part that is me, reflects that part about me. I mean, it's a globe anywhere in the house. It's a globe right here. Because I'm fascinated with maps and globes and stuff. It's a map back here. You see it on the wall? Okay. So you got to have all that match the person and get to know. You see the Eiffel Tower back there. So anyway, that's just me. So that's the home theme. The home overall theme and personal touches in a home speak volumes about the woman's interests. And I have books everywhere. I would like my dream, even at 83, is to have a library, just a room to just have books and maps. I would be so happy in that room. Books and maps. I want books everywhere. And it reminds me of the late Dr. David Dorsey. He had a room like that. And when he would have students come over, we would come over because I was in the graduate program for my doctorate, and that was Dr. David Dorsey taught that class. Sometimes we went to his home, which is the old Medea's house in the West End. And you've seen Medea, Tyler Perry, the facade of that house. There's a real house that he first did that first Medea kind of movie, and that house was owned by Dr. David Dorsey in the West End off of Avon and whatever the street is. Anyway, you know that house. And I said all that to say, in the house was a room with just books and a whole wall of the map of the world. I used to stand there like this map, like this, just stand. I would just stand and just study that map. I was fascinated with just looking. You can have he did a wall of the map of the world, and you just look at this place. He had little pins where he had been, but I would just like to walk and look at the different parts of the world. It's fascinating to me, and so you find out. So if you want to know something about a person, you would find that part out, and then you would know what to do with that information if you visited the home where you saw all that, and you would know that buying me a book is a happy thing for me, because I ask Amazon.com, and then I have my own books on Amazon. And see, so not only do I buy books, I write books. So anyway, and last, the smell. I thought that was interesting. He says the scent of a home is crucial for men, as a pleasant smell elevates a man's perception of the woman and makes him more comfortable. I have a friend that always told me I smell good. She said, "You smell so good. I just like your smell." And so my house smells like that. My house smelled like me at one time, and it smelled. People used to say, "I knew you were coming," or "I knew you had been here by your smell." I didn't know if it was a compliment or not. It might not have been. I don't know, but I wear a certain blend of oils that I like, and so when I go by, sometimes men in the store turn around and say, "What's that smell?" Because men are visual, and they have the five senses that works for them, and so I smell good all the time. And I think that I always tell you, look good, feel good, and smell good. Anyway, he says, so that's one of the things that men look for. And then he said this one, for the plant lovers. He looks to see if they have plants and are they dead or not. Are they growing or not? How the plants look. Oh, I fell out on that one. I did. He said that healthy, flourishing plants can indicate a woman is doing well, while dying plants might suggest she is going through a stressful period of living a rotten lifestyle. The plants do reflect. I talk to my plants and tell them I'm sorry that I'm so busy and that I've neglected them, and know that I love you. I talk to my plants like that, and I go and give them some water, and they thrive because they say she's going through something right now, because I didn't live like that. My plants were always flourishing and flowers, and I don't have a problem with growing plants. But when things are, this young man, Sealz, let me make sure I have it right, because I want to give him credit for this wonderful piece he did on his channel, SEAL, Sealz, the man. He says that sometimes you go through seasons. And when you go through seasons, sometimes your plants say, okay, let me just roll with them right now. We're not getting any food, we're not getting any water, we're not getting any light, but we're gonna stay here because we know that, she may be going through something. So you think about when you have somebody. Oh, he added, he said if the woman doesn't clean up, she told you to come over, and she doesn't clean up, so she doesn't care about. He said she doesn't care about herself, and she doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about what you think. So who wants to go to a dirty house? And so he had a point there. And then you have to think about whether or not you said, well, you know what, I want a clean house. Maybe she wants a clean house, so maybe I go in and clean up the house. But you'll get tired if every time you look around, there's something on the floor, there's something in the trash, there's something everywhere. After a while, you get tired of that. You just kind of throw up your hands in the air, and like you just don't care. You keep stepping. You don't stay with that person. But he did make a point of saying, he said maybe the first time, she was going through something, but the second time, maybe I go back and see. Then one time he said he went to a house and it was dark. He was like, ooh, she's getting in the mood. And it was candles, but he noticed those candles. I'm sorry, this is not funny. He said, well, those candles didn't look like the candles, like you have somebody over. He said they were all on different altars, and it was dark and it was purple light. He said, we looked again and the lights were all purple. She had on something, and she practiced witchcraft. He said he could not wait. He talked to her a few minutes. He said he got up out of there though. You got to be careful. He said when you go in somebody's house you haven't been in, you need to see the exit, see what the windows look like, the doors look like, see who's up in there, ask to go to the bathroom so you can get you an idea of what's going on. Just don't crawl, go up in somebody's house and you don't have a lay of the land. And, most brothers have their extra protection with them anyway. But, I'm just saying, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it. So let me just say, when you invite somebody over, you might want to think about the drain. You might want to think about the cleanliness. You might want to think about having you got another man, looks like another man is in there. You might want to think about the photos, but I'm going to hold that one out. I think you're all right on the photos. You can kind of talk about that on Facebook or something. You might want to think, does the home match your persona? You one way in the street and you come home and you got, I don't know, just got hatchets everywhere and guns everywhere, and out in public you got on the little demure suite. I don't know. I can't even give a good example. But anyway, just because, and the smell of the house. I mean, who wants to come into a funky house? Nobody. The house is funky. When you hit the door, it go. You're like, whoa, wait a minute now. You're gonna have them over, have him or them, all of them over. You might want to take a minute, just to sweep, wipe up something, do something. I don't know. And then your plants will tell. All may be in order, but then your plants are over there crying like, she don't love us and we about to die. Anyway, I enjoyed this so much. I got to tell Sealz, I'm going to write him a note and tell him I sure to use everything on his show, and I'm going to put in the description how you can look at his, what he had to say, because it was funny. It was almost comical, but it wasn't in terms of I didn't know. Oh, now I never thought about when you invite somebody to your house, and then I want it clean and organized. I do. I want it to smell good. I want you to have a place to sit, offer you something to eat, offer you something to drink. That's what I want to do. I like entertaining. When I was younger, I had people over all the time. I like having wine or something. I always have something in the house to offer. They don't have to take it. Person might say, I don't want anything. I don't know how you have a person in your life that never eat your food. What does that mean? I wonder about that sometimes. When I think about, you think about the persons that you've been with, and maybe they're afraid you put something in the food, or maybe they don't think you clean enough to cook the food, or what is it they thought about it that they never ate your food that you cooked, and they always said, no, I don't want it. No, I don't want. No, I don't want it. No, I don't want it. I just thought about that. But anyway, you know how you like to do. You might do just the opposite of what your parents did. I don't know, but my mother always had something in the house. I don't know if she didn't offer like I did, but my mother-in-law was the one. my mother-in-law and my sister, I think. Well, my mother-in-law, for sure, she always offered you whatever it was, um, um, because she cooked huge amounts of food all the time. And my mother didn't cook huge amounts of food all the time, but she would offer you something to drink, a drink of water. Back in the day, you had ice water in the refrigerator, and you had cold drinks in the refrigerator. You offer people something when they come in the house. You go to people's house, they don't say, have a seat, kind of get you something. That ought to be first. Is that a Southern thing or a black thing or what thing? I don't know what it is, but people are paying attention when they come to your house. And ladies, or them and their and partners and Q's and X, when you invite that person to your house, you better listen to this young man and make sure the drains are not full of hair. Lord have mercy. I love you. And you can't do anything about it.